Hello, my friend, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Daily. My name is Aaron Machbitz. Let's talk about WrestleMania 42 Night 2. Now, Night 2 was leaps and bounds better than Night 1. Night 1, to say it mildly, was extremely average. Night 2 felt like a totally different show, a totally different atmosphere, and I think WWE crushed it with Night 2 because it started off perfectly with Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. Very few things in life and in WWE happen perfectly. The build up to this match, the story, the interactions, everything between Oba and Brock has been well executed, almost perfectly executed. Then they get in the ring and WWE makes the perfect decision to have Obafemi beat Brock Lesnar in about 4 minutes, and it was just excellent. It was just excellent. And that was a perfect way to kick off the show. It created an atmosphere, a vibe that just didn't get captured in Night 1. And then a very interesting thing happened is that Brock Lesnar took his gloves off and took his shoes off and left him in the middle of the ring. And you saw a very, very emotional Brock Lesnar, right? Because on screen you see a very stoic Brock Lesnar, in and out, doing business. I'm here, I'm gone, I'm done. But Brock Lesnar absolutely fucking loves the WWE. Obviously, he's been around for that long. He wouldn't keep coming back and keep having matches and put guys over and do this and do that if he didn't love the business. And he also knows what the business has afforded him. The life he has is because of WWE, and he loves it. You really talk to Brock, he seems like just a guy who, loves his family and loves WWE, and it's really cool to see how emotional he got taking those shoes off, taking those gloves off. But the interesting thing here is the language WWE uses is what's next for Brock? What's next for Brock? Has he retired? What's next for Brock? Not using the words he is done or he is retired, because as you remember, Gunther is owed a favor from Paul Heyman. Now, Gunther is going to torture Paul Heyman for a while and keep torturing him until Brock Lesnar has no choice but to come to Paul Heyman's aid, and then he will put his career on the line at SummerSlam. Gunther will beat him. Brock Lesnar will his career will have come full circle. Mr. SummerSlam will retire at SummerSlam in Minneapolis, in his hometown, and that's the last time we will see Brock Lesnar, and then Gunther will have another notch under his belt as the career killer. But this was Brock Lesnar's choice right here against Obafemi. He knew what would get Obafemi over. He knew what would make Obafemi a future star, a current star, a star in the business right now, and they executed perfectly. It was a great job. Perfect start to Night 2. And then now we can potentially build to Gunther, Brock Lesnar. Maybe that's my kind of thought process. I also wrote some notes in front of me, so if you see me looking at those notes, that's kind of what that's what I'm looking at to keep my thoughts kind of in order. I thought the ladder match was fucking incredible. I'm kind of surprised that Penta retained. I thought Javon Evans was kind of going to be crowned here. I was also really rooting for Rusev because I think Rusev is fucking sick. And I think Rusev is kind of underappreciated, but Penta retains. I don't mind Penta as the Intercontinental Champion. I wish guys like Penta and Javon Evans would kind of get a little crisper on the basics of really making their punches mean something. You look at Roman Reigns and CM Punk and Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. They have really good basics, and so they can put together really good matches. You see people like Penta and Javon Evans can do all the high-flying stuff, but the basics aren't as sharp. But that doesn't matter. I'm getting off track. The ladder match was fucking incredible. One of the best I've ever seen. Kudos to every guy in there. Really showed out. JD McDonough, all these people, fantastic. Penta retains. That first hour on ESPN basically blew the entire Night 1 out of the water, outside of like Fatu and Drew and Gunther and Rollins. And then, the future keeps looking bright. We have Trick Williams, who beat Sami Zayn. Now Trick Williams is the new United States champion. Obafemi obviously just beat Brock Lesnar. Javon Evans looked great. I'm not sold on Javon Evans or Trick Williams yet. Definitely not Javon Evans. I'm more so leaning to being sold on Trick Williams. I'm definitely sold on Obafemi. But it's amazing to see new stars win at WrestleMania. Great job from Sami Zayn as just an absolute professional in that ring. And, cheers to Trick Williams. Now, the next match, I kind of got to put my foot in my mouth and admit that I might have been wrong here. I've been saying for a very long time that Jade Cargill is one of the worst wrestlers we have ever seen. And I still think that is true. But if I'm being honest, I have to admit that Jade Cargill really stepped up. Really, really stepped up. In a big moment, in a big match, she really, really stepped up. And now hopefully this trend continues upwards and I can look back at all the shit that I've talked about her and say, I was wrong. Well, I was right at the time, but now I have to say she's gotten better. She's improved. She's, all these things have improved about her game. I still think the way she talks and the way she sells fights is kind of boring. I don't think she's amazing in the ring, but I have to admit that she really stepped up, and this was the best match she's had in WWE, and the length of the match was spot on too. So really good job, Jade Cargill. Match was the best I've seen you have in WWE, and the perfect person won. Rhea Ripley wins the WWE Women's Championship. We want Rhea Ripley at the top. She is the best that the women have to offer. Liv Morgan might make an argument about that, but Jade Cargill stepped up. She had the best match of her WWE career, and the right woman won, and I think the match length was actually perfect. They don't need to go too long. You need to keep it right there in that sweet spot to highlight both women, how great they are, and then Ripley leaves as champion. And then we went to the main event. Roman Reigns, CM Punk. This was an instant classic. This is two guys who know how to work, who have great chemistry together, who are calling this motherfucking thing on the fly, feeling the crowd, feeling the vibes, and just going all out for the World Heavyweight Championship. This was an instant classic. And we got a clean finish. Clean finish. I do not like CM Punk as a person, as a man. I think he's a con artist, and I think he's a fraud, but he does come to play in these big matches, even though obviously it looks like he clearly has lost a step. And so I like the story that basically he lost simply because he ran out of gas. He's 47 years old. Of course he's lost a step, but he's doing the absolute best he can to be in there and produce the best fucking matches and moments that he can. I'll give him credit for that, even though I dislike him and I think he's a con artist. But he comes to play when it matters most. Big match Phil, as we're calling him on the internet. Is an instant classic between Punk and Reigns. They did a fantastic job. They have great chemistry. I don't know where the match is going to go where the feud is going to go from here, but Roman Reigns beats him clean right in the middle of the ring. It was the best match of Punk's World Championship run, and it was the best match at WrestleMania, and potentially it was the match of the year in WWE so far. Yes, I think that was the best match of Punk's World Championship reign. Clearly the best match of WrestleMania, and then right underneath it, I think you have Gunther and Rollins and Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. Those are my top three matches. No, I don't know. The ladder match was pretty fucking sick. Maybe that's in my top five. And Obafemi Brock was also there too. So maybe those are my top five matches. I'd have to really think about what are actually in the top five. I loved Gunther and Rollins. I thought Fatu and Drew McIntyre really delivered. I thought the fucking ladder match was sick. And even though Obafemi and Brock Lesnar was 4 minutes, it was just perfectly executed. And so those four matches, plus the Roman Reigns CM Punk match, were my five favorite matches of the weekend. But I think Punk Reigns was the best match of WrestleMania and a potential match of the year candidate for WWE so far. Incredible main event, well done, and clean finish. Roman Reigns ends the show. Now, where the fuck do we go from here? Who's Roman Reigns' next challenger? We've been hearing Obafemi. We've been hearing Gunther. What's true, right? Obviously, we know it's Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker going to feud. I think Drew McIntyre is taking time off. AJ Lee is taking time off. We're not going to see Brock Lesnar for a while. What's next for CM Punk? All of these questions might be answered on the Raw after Mania. I'm excited. Night 2 delivered. Absolutely delivered. It blew night 1 out of the water. It felt like a totally different show. So WWE has to figure out how to make night 1 special, because they're never, ever, 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 ever going back to just one night. They make too much money for 2 nights, but they make night 1 so ass that it just makes night 1 or night 2 look amazing no matter what. They need to make night 1 special. Both nights have to feel special. They have to feel like WrestleMania. Only a few parts of night 1 felt like WrestleMania. All of night 2 felt like WrestleMania, especially with the way that show opened with Oba and Brock and the way it ended with the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. What's next for these guys? What did you think of WrestleMania Night 1, Night 2? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.